Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to another edition of Primetime Local News. Jasmine King joined here with Abby St. John today, where we're going to be having all your local news, weather, and sports. And we're also going to be talking about your question of the day, which was a really popular topic in meme as of lately. But it's the Area 51 raid today. So just, what are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, there are no words to describe this. I think it's not a smart idea. And potentially, I'm not saying that it will happen, but it could lead to, a dangerous situation and people could end up getting hurt. So I think it was, I have zero words to describe how I feel about it.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah. But now we're going to go to Josh Ryan, who was on location earlier today.
Thanks very much. I'm out here at Paradise Valley and E.H. Walters School, where they're putting on a Run for Brindley. That's Brindley Alden, a 5-month-old who was recently diagnosed with leukemia. Her mother, Stephanie, teaches here at the school, and the rest of the staff has gotten together this run, along with the students, to not only raise spirits for Brindley, but also funds as well. We'll have more with a couple of students and staff members over the next 2 hours, but first, let's head back into studio and look at what's going on with your local news.
The People's Party of Canada is in Lloydminster, and even though they're still a new party, they're looking for community approval. Our Braden Chernichan has more.
The party had both candidates for each side of Lloydminster, Jason McInnes for Battlefords and Elaine Ull for the Lakeland side. The night did run a little wilder than expected, but both candidates welcomed any kind of conversation.
Part of our platform is freedom of speech, right? Whether you're coming up with stuff that is not necessarily there, I'm not going to stop you from voicing your concern.
So the discussion is always good. It's people venting. People are frustrated. People have had enough. They're fed up. And it's mainly a frustration and a venting type of discussion.
Both candidates also shared their thoughts on the recent Trudeau controversy. Controversy is something the PPC is familiar with.
Let's just take the billboards for a second and the racist remarks. It just seems like everybody jumped to conclusions. Like I explained in my presentation, it's just we're trying to reduce a number. We're not trying to reduce a particular people.
The only thing I find the Liberals are losing a lot of favor. They've never really had a lot of favor out here to begin with.
The PPC also mentions how they want to bring politics back to the basics by going door to door and involving themselves with the community. Braden Chernichan, Primetime Local News.
This week, City Council received the first draft of a new reserve policy from administration, which addresses long-term financial stability and maintain a sustaining and viable community. This would mean an operational reserve for most of the departments, along with a capital reserve for long-term planning.
One that will be accessible to the departments should it be required as time goes on, but as well for helping long-term planning of capital purchases and construction, because infrastructure, buildings need to be long-term planned.
Councillor Torreson believes this could be a game changer for the city in dealing with unforeseen challenges.
There's some operating portions of that will over time build so that there is some resiliency against major issues that could develop in any given year, so that we can get a situation where we can build funds to deal with things as they come up that maybe were not anticipated within the budget.
The budget could be the first test this fall.
Provincial budget will be one of them that we will face head on as best as we can once the news comes forward from the province of Alberta.
Council will make a decision on the finalized reserve policy in the coming weeks. Lloydminster and District Co-op made a big announcement today. They will be expanding on one of their current services.
The addition to the Lloydminster and District Co-op family of a 4th gas bar location.
The new gas bar will be located on Highway 17 North. They decided to build a north location after the feedback they received from their members.
One of the things as a cooperative, we certainly listen to the feedback of our membership, and our members have been talking to us certainly through our annual general meeting and through some other avenues that they were looking for us to consider an opportunity to expand our gas bar north, and this opportunity came up, and so we moved on it.
With 3 other gas bar locations, they decided to place this one in a high traffic area.
As a main thoroughfare for traffic in Lloydminster, being on Highway 17 north, and certainly to provide the north end, our north membership, as well as the industrial area with the same services they can expect from our other gas bars, was just a natural fit.
They're hoping to begin construction in a few weeks and have the gas station completed by the summer of 2020. Schools aren't typically adopted by bookstores, but for one local middle school that isn't the case. E.S. Laird Middle School was adopted, and they will work in partnership with the local Coles to raise money for library resources in the school, an opportunity they're looking forward to participate in.
It's fantastic that we were selected. I mean, there's lots of schools across Canada that need tons of help. For our school to be selected amongst the small numbers in Canada who've made it to this final, it'll help out the school greatly with new books, give the students chances to read different things they've never tried before, and expand the book selection here in the library.
The fundraiser runs from September 14th to October 6th at the store, where customers can choose to make a donation towards the school.
The school also chose 50 different novels. They're sort of high choice novels, ones that we figure students would enjoy reading. If somebody purchases that novel and donates, not only do we get the donation, but Coles will also donate a copy of that novel back to the school.
They're also hosting free activities at Coles this Sunday, including face painting and glitter tattoos, in order to try and get donations for their school. Now we go to our Josh Ryan, who was on location today.
Thanks again. We're out at E.H. Walter School in Paradise Valley, where the Run for Brindley is about to begin. I'm joined by Tanya Willis, an administrative assistant here at the school, and obviously friends with Stephanie. Kind of tell us about how this got started, the initiative you guys took to do something for the family.
For sure. Stephanie has taught at E.H. Walter for a couple years. She taught grade 5 last year, and then went on maternity leave, obviously. Brindley was diagnosed in August with leukemia, and obviously, as soon as we heard that, we knew we had to do something as a staff. So as soon as we gathered back here for school in the fall, it was a no-brainer that we had to turn the Terry Fox Run into the Run for Brindley and raise some funds to help them out. It's going to be a long journey for them, and we hope that we can alleviate some of the financial costs for them.
Absolutely. And I'm sure they had a strong reaction when you knew that, knowing that they've been out at the Stollery for much of this time, and it can't be easy for them by any means.
Mm-hmm. No, it's been incredibly difficult. There's not much family around in this area for them either, and James works in Lloydminster as an RCMP member, so they definitely are away from home and missing it.
And for the Aldens, if there's some way you can donate, is there anywhere people can go online or contact you guys, for example, to go through them?
Absolutely. This isn't just a one-time thing. It's going to be ongoing. So if anybody wants to donate, they can just call E.H. Walter School and we can help them out.
Thank you again for that, Tanya. We'll have more with Tanya Willis later on in the show, but first, let's head back into studio.
Thanks, Josh. Well, taking a look at current temperatures, it is 15 here in the border city right now. Mix of sun and cloud, which we've seen throughout today, which has been pretty nice. However, that wind is coming in from the northwest at 23 kilometers per hour, so that's a bit high. But our records for today, back in 1999, the record high was 26 degrees, and back in 1995, the record low was -8. So it's a good thing we're still not in the below zeros just yet. Taking a look at current temperatures across the region, 18 in both Meadow Lake and North Battleford, 19 in Saskatoon and Melfort, and 20 in Prince Albert. On the Alberta side, 18 in Cold Lake, 16 in Athabasca, 15 in Whitecourt and Edson, 17 in Edmonton and in Jasper, 13 in Rocky Mountain House, and 14 in Red Deer. Now, overnight across the regions, fairly calm, except in Isle Cross, they may see some showers, and they're all pretty low temperatures, with Isle Cross being at 9 and the rest being below 6 degrees. Now, here in Lloydminster overnight, it should be a fairly clear night with a low of 4, and then tomorrow it will be a high of 17 with a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day, and that wind will pick up just a little bit coming in from the west-southwest at 13 kilometers per hour. Now, the next 3 days, on Sunday, it should be a bright, beautiful, sunny day with that wind staying at 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the south-southwest, and a high of 23 and a low of 7. And then on Monday, to start the week back up, it will be a high of 16 and a low of 10, but that wind will pick up significantly to 24 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-northwest, and it will be a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. We're just above our averages for this time of year, with our average high being 15 and our average low being 3. That's a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Warm weather and wind have allowed Saskatchewan farmers to get back in the fields and continue their harvest. Saskatchewan Agriculture says 23% of the crop is now in the bin, up 18% from last week. The department says that's still well behind the 5-year average of 50% for this time of year. The harvest is most advanced in the southwest at 37%, while the northwest region has just 10% of crop combine, 90% of winter wheat and 88% of fall rye, 78% of field peas and 75% of lentils, 39% of barley, 17% of durum and oats, 13% of spring wheat, and 6% of canola is now in the bin. The British Columbia government is seeking opinions about how best to encourage farming and protect farmland. A series of public meetings will be held around BC over the next 6 weeks, with the first one slated for tonight in Maryville on Vancouver Island and others in Delta, Dawson Creek, Prince George, Kelowna, and Castlegar following in October. The province says it is seeking insights about how to help farmers and ranchers within the agricultural land reserve establish, expand, and diversify their businesses. Discussions will also focus on recent changes to the Reserve and Agriculture Land Commission and how to preserve flexibility for residential options within the ALR while ensure agriculture remains the primary use of the land. Now let's take a look at your ag prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
School has only been in session since September 3rd, but already one of the school sports is wrapping up. Our Evan Kenny reports.
This past week, the Holy Rosary golf team took part in the regional qualifiers for golf provincials. Only 3 weeks into the school year, the team will now be getting set for the final tournament. Out of this year's flock, one Holy Rosary athlete arose. Jalen Burrows made the cut for the second year in a row.
I know how other girls play and how serious they are, so I have to get down to their level and try to be more intense, I guess, with golf.
The happy-go-lucky Burrows is predominantly a hockey player, but credits that for her golf skills.
I still play hockey. It helps me with my swing. Yeah, my dad, he golfs, so then he taught me, and I got a golf set when I was little.
Last week, playing in St. Paul, Burrows had a tough time with water hazards. The provincials will be played at Alberta Springs Golf Resort, just outside of Red Deer, and Innisfail Golf Club. Alberta Springs is a link-style course with lots of water.
Well, we just, like Jalen had said before, we want her to stay in control and just slow things down and take her time so that we have an opportunity for her to do well.
I didn't do so good when there was water, and then I went in it and I got a couple more strokes than I wanted to, so that didn't help me with my score. I didn't really know what club to use, so I tried a whole bunch, but then now we've been practicing with a club, and I think I can get over it now.
Burrows hasn't played either of the courses previously, but the duo is heading down early to get in a practice round. The tournament takes place on the 23rd and 24th.
Burrows is going to need to pull out her best Brooke Henderson impression in order to score well this upcoming week. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we go to our Josh Ryan, who is on location today.
Very close now to the start of the Color Run for Brindley here at E.H. Walter School in Paradise Valley, joined again by Administrative Assistant Tanya Willis. And Tanya, there's multiple purposes that the run serves. Obviously, the main cause is to raise awareness and funds for Brindley Alden and her family, but there's also sort of an educational side of this run in connecting it to Terry Fox.
Absolutely. We are still dealing with a cancer here as well, so we still are bringing awareness to Terry Fox. We did speak with the Terry Fox Foundation, actually, just to kind of clear this all with them, and they gave us a huge blessing because we're still bringing awareness to cancer and how much support is needed. The kids have dove in, they've made their own shirts, they've really gotten into all this. One thing we do want to bring awareness to as well is blood donation. We were unable to do a drive out here, but everyone can donate, and I hope they do donate. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, there's also just encouraging physical activity. It sounds like you guys have been pretty involved with making sure these kids are not only out for recess and things like that, but they've done other runs as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. They do, like today, the Brindley Run, a couple kilometers. So they're all coming in here, or they're going to be coming in here running and out of breath. But we do a lot of activity around here in this school with track and field, cross-country running, a lot of that stuff.
And do you have another run or event particularly planned with the Aldens?
As of right now, we don't. But that being said, depending on how Brindley is doing and things like that, we definitely would be up for doing another event to support that family.
Absolutely, and we'll certainly check that out when and where that would come. Again, we'll have those kids running through soon here in Paradise Valley. First, let's head back into studio and find out what's going on with your local weather.
Thanks, Josh. Well, taking a look at current temperatures, still 15 here in Lloydminster, 15 also in Vermilion and Bonnyville, 14 in Lac La Biche, 17 in St. Paul, Vegreville, and Edmonton, 18 in Cold Lake, and 16 in Marwayne, 18 in Wainwright, and 17 in Provost. On the Saskatchewan side, 18 in Macklin and North Battleford, 17 in Maidstone, Meadow Lake, and Green Lake, 15 in St. Walburg and Isla Crosse, and 16 in Pearceland. Now your temperatures for tomorrow, 17 here in Lloydminster is the high for tomorrow, 17 also in St. Walburg, 18 in Green Lake, Pearceland, Isla Crosse, and Maidstone, 19 in Macklin and North Battleford and Meadow Lake. On the Alberta side, 17 in Cold Lake, Bonnyville, St. Paul, Marwayne, and Vermilion, 19 in Vegreville, 20 in Edmonton, 18 in Wainwright, and in Lac La Biche, and 17 in Provost. Now your current weather across Canada, 9 up in Yellowknife and 13 in Whitehorse, 18 in Vancouver, 17 in Edmonton, 20 out in Regina, 19 in Winnipeg, 21 in Toronto, 19 in Quebec City, 11 in St. John's, and 18 out in Halifax. Now your 7-day forecast here in Lloydminster. Tomorrow, a high of 17 and a low of 4 with a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. Then on Sunday, it should be a nice, beautiful sunny day with a high of 23 and a low of 7. To start your week off on Monday, it will be a high of 16 and a low of 10, but that wind will pick up to 24 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-northwest, so keep an eye out for that. Will be a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. Then on Tuesday, a little bit more cloud than sun, but that wind will remain at 24 kilometers coming in from the west with a high of 14. High of 12 on Wednesday with the wind slowing down to 19 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-northwest. And then there's a 65% chance of some showers on Thursday with the high going down to the single digits at 7 and the low of 2. And then Friday, we could see our first look at below zero temperatures with that projected low of -1 and the high of 7 with mostly cloudy skies. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news after the break.
Now we go to our Josh Ryan, who is on location today.
Out at Paradise Valley, just before the Run for Brindley is about to get underway at E.H. Walters School, I'm joined by 6th grader Liam Babcock. Liam, I heard an interesting story about you and your friend that you guys had done a lemonade stand and made a couple of $100 and decided you're going to give that money away.
Yeah, we in I think it was July, we we just went to our grandparents' house and set up a lemonade stand. We didn't really know about Brindley at that time, but then later it came up, so then we just decided to give it there because we didn't know exactly what to do. So
Well, that's a really nice gesture, you guys.
yeah, thanks.
And what was kind of the spurring moment when people were told about it? It's just you wanted to help out?
Yeah, mostly. My mom gave me the idea, and then I told my friend Jonas, and he's the one I did the lemonade stand with. So then we just decided to give the money to her.
Well, it's a nice selfless gesture of you. What's your goal with the run here? How fast do you need to go?
As fast as I can. If it's like 5K, I'm gonna try and do sub 30 minutes, I guess. But I don't know.
Sub 30. That's a pretty good time for your age, I'd say.
Yeah, I do lots of running because I do cross country, so I've trained and I sometimes train with my brothers, and he's pretty good at running, so.
So he probably pulls you along then.
Oh yeah, he is pretty good.
Awesome. Well, I'm anticipating you're going to have a pretty good run today, Liam. Thanks again for that offer of donating that money. And we'll look forward to seeing the start of the race as well as the end later on here at Paradise Valley. For now, though, back to you guys in studio.
Thanks, Josh. Now our question of the day has to do with a story that you guys just saw, which, what do you think about the Area 51 raid? Now we got a couple comments kind of with all the same opinions that they didn't really think that it was the best idea for people to go. And then one person said, I don't even think it's the real Area 51. I think they're just hiding it for another one. So there's a lot of different opinions on if this is actually Area 51 or just the idea was questionable.
The idea is definitely questionable, but I knew that there was going to be a lot of conspiracy theories like that one coming out because it has been such a secret base for so long. But it's definitely questionable and could lead to very unsafe situations, and we've already seen that a few people have been arrested, like those 2 YouTubers last week or the week before, and then one other person was arrested, I think, today. So it's becoming very uncharted territory.
Yeah, it's very interesting because there was actually like a decent amount of people that ended up going to Area 51. A lot of them were just kind of there and hanging out. Yeah. So I think that maybe they didn't actually think that they were going to get into Area 51. When they actually ended up getting there, they realized it was more just to hang out and meet people.
Yeah, exactly. A lot probably won't come out of this, probably just like it was turned into a music festival, so probably just listen to music and have some fun. So, but there is always that worry that something could happen.
Yeah, I have to agree. It was an interesting choice to turn into a music festival for sure. But one thing that is interesting is your pets. So we're going to take a look at your pet pictures. This is Teddy.
Adorable, such a fluffy looking cat, so cute.
Great picture. This is Charlotte.
Adorable, enjoying a nice day outdoors, so cute.
I would like to do that as well. And then this is Waffle.
Love the name, and the cat is just adorable.
Very cute. This is Jim.
Love when animals have people names, so I approve. Adorable dog.
Very cool. And thank you for everyone who's sending in your pet pictures. We'll be giving away a Pet Pad gift card at the end of the next hour.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Welcome back. It's the topic everyone is talking about, the Trudeau blackface and brownface scandal, an apology which has a lot of people wondering where they stand with Trudeau and the Liberal Party. But former Liberal candidate and the founder of Make It Awkward movement, Jesse Lipscomb from Edmonton, has a lot to say about this. Jesse, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, first of all, what are your thoughts on the Trudeau's apology for the blackface and brownface photos that just came out?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because first off, obviously it's shocking. But when I initially watched the apology, I was the first apology. Let me say, I was like, you know what? That's a decent apology. I like it. I mean, he didn't skate around the topic of what he was doing being racist. And when asked, did you do it again, or had anything else like this come out? He said, yeah, there was this other time in high school. So right off the bat, I was like, good for you. Way to apologize.
Yeah.
And then there was another question that came up just regarding, should you resign, or what would you do if somebody in your party, either an MP trying to get elected or an MP that's already there, what would you do? And he skated that a little bit with, it's a case-by-case scenario. Not sure what we'd do, but I'm just here to do the best that I can. And so that one obviously got me a little bit, just based on the fact that, I was one of those people and things worked out a little differently for myself.
Tell us a little bit about that. Obviously, you were asked by the Liberals to jump on and come on and run, and then all of a sudden they kind of told you not to because of Facebook. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a green lighting process that happens with every candidate. They approached me initially. It's actually Amarjeet, which is a good friend, someone I respect highly, and I like what they were doing. And Liberals align with my morals and my values as well. I've said before, I'm relatively nonpartisan to an extent, but the Liberals or the NDP or the Green Party, all of them share some things that are really important to me moving forward in this country. So I decided, you know what, let me give it a shot. Let me see what I can do to represent the constituents and the city I grew up in St. Albert and Edmonton, Northside. Feel like I got a voice for them, and I can represent what's important to them. And so I went through that process. And part of the process, of course, is getting vetted in every way possible. We do some skeletons in the closet if they exist. They comb through social media, and everything was great. And then radio silence started to happen, and the people who were talking to me had mentioned to me that they were informed that they were probably not going to go ahead with the green light, and to their knowledge, it had more to do with being a little bit too risky, and maybe some of the social media content that I had in my past. And we did a social media vetting where we went through some of the most, controversial posts that were there. And, I mentioned a couple of those beforehand, but, controversial, very, very small amount of controversy, I'd say, in comparison to blackface, right? So, I was like, interesting. A couple of the tweets I had for sure can be explained and make perfect sense. And I get why maybe you want to stay away from some topics. But I fully get why one might want to stay away from, dressing in blackface or brownface numerous times.
Yeah. So now that that's happened to you, what are your thoughts on the Liberals? Will you be voting for them? And should he step down? I know that happened to you. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's my thought on this. Do I think he should step down? No. Do I think that I should still be running? Yes. Do I think that my view of Justin Trudeau should change my view of the country? And that's a tough one. For me, I say no. Am I saying I'm casting my ballot for the Liberal Party no matter what? Absolutely not. It has me definitely on an undecided spot right now. But again, I'm not born liberal, die a liberal. I'm who's going to create a better future based on what I think the future should look like. But I do think that, it's kind of scary that sometimes we will jump off of a bandwagon completely because of what somebody in our party does, when we still may be aligned with what the party is about. So then the next question comes down, like what you said, should someone step down? Again, that's not for me to decide, but interestingly enough, I always wonder, who was Justin Trudeau's circle in high school or in university or when he was 29 that didn't say, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing this? And then I also question who's in the circle right now. And so this idea of how these things can happen without people, blowing the whistle. Awesome. And if the circles still look the same, then that is a little worrisome.
Yeah. Well, we're running out of time, Jess. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show. And I got tons more to say, so, anytime you need me.
Awesome. I love it. We'll have you back on here. And that was Jesse Lipscomb with Make It Awkward and one of the actors of the much anticipated play, The Color Purple.
That's right.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Cool 101.3 here in Bonnyville and Boom 95.3 in Cold Lake. And here's what's happening around the Lakeland. Well, coming up on Saturday, Walsh Field at Scott Park. It starts at 2 o'clock. It's the 10th annual Scott McDonald Memorial Cancer Initiative fundraiser. Bunch of football games. Byron Johnson joins us now, involved with the football community. What's going on, buddy?
All right, well, this is a big one that the Parents Association and the football teams put on every year. This is the big cancer fundraiser that they do. There's 3 football games back-to-back, so it starts off at 2 o'clock with the Renegades, and then followed by 4:30 with the Bandits and 7:30 with the Voyageurs. And what they're going to be doing is raising money for their cancer initiative by head shaving, which they're taking pledges for, and a big silent auction as well.
You can get more information, facebook.com/boom953. Byron, this seems to be a huge event around the Lakeland. Not only do people come from Bonnyville, but also Cold Lake as well. Why is that?
It's a real important event. Like we're remembering Scott and what he's done for the football team, keeping his memory alive as well, and helping out the whole community and the whole Lakeland, and it's a really important thing. And we are playing 2 Cold Lake teams that day, so I know the stands will be packed and it'll be a lot of fun.
Byron, this sounds like a great initiative. Thanks so much for sharing about it.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming out and doing a story about it.
And if you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, shoot me an email, jmarshall@stingray.com.